guys, some unexpected things came up for today with something that I sponsor. So we are going to do this on a video today. Remember that we are reviewing today for your test on Friday. Your test on Friday will be graphing sine, cosine, and tangent. If you look at your learning targets back there on the whiteboard, you can graph sine and cosine functions. You can identify the amplitude, the number of cycles, and the period of sine and cosine, and then you can graph tangent functions as well, okay? All right, so let's look at this study guide first for your final exam. So we have 25 to the negative 3 over 2. Remember that when you have a negative, it flips it upside down. So this is going to be 1 over 25 to the 3/2, okay? Anytime your exponent is negative, it's not like number 11, because number 11, the exponent is not negative, okay? So number 10, anytime your exponent is negative, it flips the whole thing upside down. And then remember that when you were dividing, that meant your root. So you have a square root of 25 to the 3rd power. All right, so let's type that in. The square root of 25 to the 3rd power gives you 125. So it is 1 over 125. And that's your answer. All right, number 11, you have the 5th root. And since it's negative, you have to make sure you use parentheses. All right, so let me pull up my calculator real quick so that you can see how you type this in. All right, guys, here's what we're going to do. You're going to hit, it was a 5th root, so you're going to hit 5. Let me slide this up a little bit. Then you're going to hit math. You're going to go down to number 5, or you can just hit 5. You're going to hit parentheses. What was it? Negative. You're going to hit negative 32. Close your parentheses to the 3rd power. And you should get negative 8. So that's your answer. All right, the last one is number 12. So remember that whatever you're dividing by is your root. So it's the cube root. And it has parentheses, which means everything, 125 and x to the 6th, is squared. All right, so the first thing that you want to do is you want to deal with your number, okay? Everything is squared. So 125 squared is quite a large number. Okay? Then to square x to the 6th, when you have one letter, you multiply. So 2 times 6 would be 12. All right, and then we are going to hit 3, math, go down to number 5, and type in 15,625, and see if it's a perfect cube. And you should get 25. Remember that we do not use plus and minus when our root is odd. Our root is odd, so it's just going to be 25, no plus and minus. And then to do your letters, you're going to take 12 and divide it by 3. 12 divided by 3 gives you 4. And that's your answer. All right, here we go. So what you need to do now is there should be 2 pieces of paper in your notes that you have not received yet. So it needs to be passed around just like we always do. But guys, please, please, please realize that it is collated. So if you do not take both of the pieces of paper, it will mess it up for everyone after you. So please take both pieces of paper as they come around. So go ahead and pass those out now and pause this video until you get finished. Pass them out, pause the video. All right, by now everyone should have 2 pieces of paper. So let me show you what they look like. The first one should look like this. Okay? Yes, this was a pre-cal lesson. No, it's not a pre-cal lesson anymore. And now we're doing it in Algebra II with Trig, okay? All right, so what we're going to do for 1 through 9 is all you're going to do is find the amplitude and the period. That should be very, very easy, okay? Then 10 through 13, it says that you're going to give the amplitude and the period, but then you're also going to write an equation of each graph. If you remember back on, let me scroll up so you can see. Remember these pages that we did? Oh, hold on guys, right here. Remember the sine and cosine stuff that we did? Way down there at the bottom where it says give the amplitude and the period of each and then write the equation. We've already done that before, okay? So if you need to look back on how we did it, that's where you can look. There's sine and cosine. The biggest thing on this paper, guys, that we're working on is that you're very, very careful to realize if they want sine or if they want cosine. So for example, on number 10, you're like, Ms. Blackman, they don't give you sine or cosine. Yes, they do. Look at where it passes on 10. It passes through the origin. Remember that either sine or cosine, one of the two, pass through the origin, okay? So you got to look at that one. Look at number 11. That one goes up to your maximum at 4. So remember which one, sine or cosine, went through your maximum of 4, okay? All right, and then, where are we at? On the back of that, 14 and 15, go ahead and mark out that left side of that graph because you don't need all that. Remember, this was a pre-cal lesson, so we're not ready to take that step yet. So mark out the left side of both of the graphs on 14 and 15. Let me make sure we're all good. And, oops, that's the stuff from yesterday. Give me 2 seconds and I'll show you what I mean, okay? I know, you've all seen this before. It's okay. Alright, so here's 14 and 15, okay? You don't worry about, oops, what help I put my pen on. Don't worry about any of this stuff on this side or any of this stuff on this side, okay? Just use this piece of the graph on both of those, okay? Alright, then, same thing on 16 and 17, okay? Same thing on 16 and 17. And then finally, after all of that, let's see, where's that? Right here. On this last page, the only ones that I want you to do are 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's it, okay? Just 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now notice that 2 and 3 have theta over 2 and theta over 4. So let's talk about that real quick, okay? Theta over 2 is the same as 1/2 theta, okay? Which means your B is the number in front of theta, which would be 1/2. So theta over 4 would be 1/4 theta, and your B is your number in front of theta, which would be 1/4. Okay? The key is on Google Classroom, just like it always is. Okay? So if you have any questions, I want you to circle the ones that you are having questions on and check your work on Google Classroom. For any of the ones that we're struggling on, we will look at that on Thursday because we're going to review everything on Thursday. And we are not going to turn this in, okay? I know I can tell my sweet little angel darlings that we are not going to turn this in, and they are still going to work on what they need to work on because we are not through the quarter yet, okay? And the sub is going to leave me anybody that does not work on what they are supposed to work on, okay? You know who you are that normally don't. And then Friday, we will have our test on graphing, sine, cosine, and tangent, okay? And then Monday will be our math workshop test, okay? So we got a lot of stuff coming up, a lot of grades going in. Y'all have a great day, and I will be here today, so you can message me. I'm just not in class, okay? Y'all have a great day. I will see y'all tomorrow.